Today is Wednesday, November the 5th. Welcome to the Queen Anne's County Board of Education. Please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Capes.
Pursuant to the general provisions, Article 3-305, 3-104, the Board of Education of Queen Anne's County met in a closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, assignment, promotion, discipline, demotion, compensation, removal, resignation, or performance evaluation of appointees, employees, or officials over whom this public body has jurisdiction, and any other personnel matter that affects one or more specific individuals, to protect the privacy or reputation of individuals concerning a matter not related to public business, to consult with counsel to obtain legal advice, and to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation.
At this moment, can I get a motion to resume open session?
Can I make a motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to resume open session?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Review of the closed session agenda items. Yep. And then approval, can I get a motion to approve the agenda for tonight?
Yes. Did you want me to do the review closed session, or, whoops, there it goes.
Not yet, with the approve the agenda first.
Can I make a motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the agenda as presented tonight?
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now the approval of the minutes.
Can I make a motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the October 1st, 2025 closed session minutes as presented, and to approve the October 1st open session minutes?
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
And now the fun part.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Okay, good evening, everyone. It's an exciting time of the month to present this month's award winners. Our first award is the Energizer Bunny Award. This award is given to a staff member or volunteer who keeps on going. It is sponsored by Bayview Financial and Mr. Chip Brittingham and Mr. Wayne Humphreys, if they could join us up front. This month's Energizer Bunny Award winner is nominated by Mrs. Michelle McNeil, principal of Southerville Elementary School, and our Energizer Bunny winner is Miss Christina Landgraf. Mrs. McNeil says, Southerville Elementary is happy to announce Christina Landgraf for the Energizer Bunny Award. Christina's enthusiasm, tireless commitment, and positivity inspire both students and colleagues each day. Her boundless energy truly exemplifies what it means to keep going and going. Here are a few comments from the staff as well. Christina is an amazing team member. She constantly keeps me updated and supported, all while taking a master's class. She is positive and fun each day and comes well prepared to lead the team forward with plans and ideas. Christina never stops trying to meet all students' needs. Thank you, Christina, for all that you do. Southerville Elementary School is proud to have such a dedicated member on our team.
All right, I'm three. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Our next award is the Spirit Award. This award is given to an individual who embodies the spirit of Queen Anne's County Public Schools. This month's winner is nominated by Mrs. Susan Walbert, principal of Churchill Elementary School, and our Spirit Award winner is Miss Vicki Pape. Mrs. Walbert says, nominated by her peers, Miss Pape has been a paraprofessional in our pre-K4 classroom for 11 years. Our school motto is Cub Strong, and Miss Pape is just that. Our students love and trust her to help them learn and keep them safe. Former students yell her name and wave when they see her. This shows the relationship she works so hard to build with her students. She has made such a positive impact on our students and is always lifting others. Congratulations. You can stay up here, Ms. Walbert, if you would like. And our last award for the night is our Shining Star Award. The Shining Star Award is presented to an individual in our school system who shines. Nominated again by Mrs. Susan Walbert, Churchill Elementary School principal. This month's winner, our Shining Star, is Mr. Michael Moore. Mrs. Walbert says, nominated again by his peers, Mr. Moore is in his 19th year as a paraprofessional in Queen Anne's County Public Schools. Did I do something? Just a long time. He displays exemplary characteristics in the classroom such as integrity, dependability, and enthusiasm for the work he accomplishes each day. He is a team player who goes above and beyond with his task. Our students and staff look forward to working with Mr. Moore and remember him long after they have moved to other grades or schools. He is our shining star. And my two students still talk about you.
Next activity, we'll give them a second.
And they're gone.
Our next activity is board involvement. Who would like to start?
Okay.
You go.
All right. So attended the commissioner liaison meeting. Good information coming out of there. I'm not 100% sure how some of that gets passed on with the rest of the board, but it was some good information. I think we'll be moving forward with some things too. Went out to the football game last week. It was good. Got a little chippy. That was a good game though. Also wanted to give a shout out to all the fall athletics from both Kent Island as well as Queen Anne, because I know we've had tremendous athletic seasons on both sides. Some of them still playing in playoffs. I mean, big game tonight. Anybody know the score to that? That'd be great.
It's currently one set to one set.
Okay.
16 to 14.
So good luck to Kent Island football on Friday. Good luck to Queen Anne football tomorrow night. Go support our local community sports. Field hockey's semifinals for Kent Island. So, I mean, we're just deep in the state playoff runs. It's fantastic to see. I'm glad we have a lot of talented folks, not only in athletics, but across the board with other parts of our school district, too. So.
That's awesome. Do you want to go next?
I'll go now. So first thing I'd like to say wow to all the representatives and Dr. Schreckengas for putting together the Citizens Advisory Council, and Dr. Kibler for letting us know all his thoughts and everything that's going on. When I walked into the room here, I thought it was in the wrong spot because there were so many people here. So thank you to everybody that showed up. Great turnout, and just hearing input from the parents and stakeholders was very refreshing. The other thing I wanted to add is I've gotten a few phone calls and emails and just like chatter from community members that they have seen a lot on social media about the giving closets, and also different organizations that help out within the school, and then also if there is any way for parents or stakeholders to donate to the school, whether it be like an Amazon wish list or things they need at the giving closet. So I know me and Dr. Kibler just talked about a little bit, if you had some suggestions for how they could, link up with different schools.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say, if you do know some of the donations we collect in the schools, just members of the public that don't necessarily have a child that go to school, feel free to reach out. Just call the main number at the individual school, and they can help you if they are making a collection there. For those folks that are looking just to donate money, want to get involved in some way, we also just recently set up on our website a page for the Queen Anne's County Education Partnership through Ashley Luking and her work, where they support teachers that are working on innovative ideas with grants and things like that. So we wanted to make that easier for folks to connect to as well. And they can always send Dr. Schreckengoss or myself an email as well, and we can help point them to the right direction.
Thank you. And then just looking forward to the plays coming up. That's all I got.
No, me, sorry. It was a busy month. I went to the character counts thing at Dominic's farm after the last, so many people showed up. I think they were out of the 100 free lunches before the event even started, but it was a huge turnout. They did a really neat, each pillar had a table with the different animals, and anyway, just it was neat to see all the families and community members out. Also went to the Hispanic Heritage Day at Ken Island, which was amazing. All the girls in their quinceanera dresses, I love it. Really proud of the students. Anyway, and the teachers that put it on. I went to a lot of sports and senior nights, and I think it's great how much they do for the seniors, the volleyball, the band, the field hockey. Anyway, to honor them, the football cheerleaders, all of them. And we went to the MABE legislative meetings and the conference. So, I think that was it.
That was it. This month I was able to get to a game at the high school, Ken Island High School, on the 9th, Ken Island field hockey against Stephen Decatur. It was a great game. It was a charity game for Rowan's Run, which was awesome. So Rowan got to go take the field, which was pretty cool. And then between my own kids and fall sports with field hockey and fall lacrosse and fall ball, I haven't been able to, and sickness, lots of snotty noses. So mid-afternoon plans, I was planning to go to the Hispanic Heritage at the high school and had to go pick up a sick kid from school. So, but always next month.
Yeah.
There you go.
Oh, and the ribbon cutting ceremony, that was awesome. Coming here, the commissioners and the board, we're all here in full force. So, yeah, it was a good month. All is here.
All right, so let's see. MABE conference, 2 days in Annapolis. That was really good. We got to speak with or spend time with all 24 educational entities in Maryland were represented, and some really good information passed on there. Lots of updates from the legislative committee meeting while we were there. Hispanic Heritage Month at Sudlersville Middle School, awesome again this year. It was very interesting, a lot of good food. That's probably the best part. Some good costumes and beautiful quinceanera dresses. They were amazing. I also participated in the Queen Anne's County Maryland Reads discussion this past month. We got another one coming up in a couple weeks. And then the central office ribbon cutting, that was a lot of fun. So, hanging out with you guys. And so now we will move to Mr. Adams and Mr. Mulcher. Who wants to go first?
Upcoming activities for high school is start sports. Like you guys said, volleyball is currently right now in the field hockey state semifinals at Glenburg High at Glenburg High School, looking at number 6 at 5:30 as well. Friday available to watch Saturday at 6 as well as Sunday at 1. And to wrap it all up, Friday the 21st is the Student of the Month ceremony, which will be held in the library at KI. And that's all on the agenda for KI this month.
Great. We're entering quarter two on a high note. Since October, we've had many fun school-sponsored events, including Homecoming Spirit Week, the Homecoming Game and Dance, the home victory over Kent Island football in Superintendent's Cup. Sorry. Marching band had several top 5 scores at states, and part of the Eastern Shore has several academic and extracurricular events upcoming in November. Tonight, previously mentioned, hosting Kent Island in state playoffs right now. Tomorrow, we have a home playoff football game. This weekend, QA Cheer travels to the state finals for competitive cheer. And opening of the fall play in Magical Story of Pups. That's all.
That's a lot, but it's high school. Dr. Kibler.
All right, thank you. Obviously, been out and about doing a lot of things this month. Hit on some of the highlights, so I was able to go to the opening night of the Faculty Art Show, and that was really impressive to see all the talented teachers that we have in the district. Seeing their own work on display is really cool. It was nice to socialize and see everyone there. Been doing an awful lot of athletic events, which have been awesome. That's really important to me and my family, so I've had the family in tow a lot as well, and I want to echo other board members, Mr. Dreyer specifically, saying good luck to all of those that are still participating. I'll be at Queen Anne's tomorrow night with hopefully the lucky coin flip, following up last week to Dr. Schreckengoss getting the chance to do it. So also was down at the Kent Island High School Combined Orchestra and Choir concert. That was really impressive. Attended the Kent Island High School Fall Play last week, so if you haven't checked that out yet, hope you get a chance to see it this weekend. And then some of the other things that a little bit more behind the scenes, I guess, concluded my first round of 3 visits to all of the schools, 2-hour visits, meeting with principals, going over the opening of their year in the schools, looking at student data, outcomes from last year, where they're at, beginning of the year data, where kind of what their goals and priorities for their school are for the year. So we did that with all 14 schools. Dr. Schreckengoss joined me. We'll do that 2 more times, check in mid-year and then at the end of the year. And this week also I started the first student roundtables at the schools as well. So all the secondary schools have got a group of 10 to 15 students that I'll meet with a few times a year just to kind of get a pulse on what's going on in the school. I kind of opened with at each of them. I go to a lot of these events. I'm kind of the weird guy in the back in a suit, wondering who is that man, watching, cheering on. I don't always get the opportunity to talk to students, so I've really valued those conversations to kind of get a pulse. So much of the day is meeting with adults and teachers, but to really get down and meet individually with students and see what's going on, it's very helpful, and I really appreciate them doing that, and also the parents appreciating them leaving class for a half hour a couple times a year to talk with me. That's great. And then I echo, we had the MABE conference 2 weeks ago. That was a good time spent with board members and other boards and superintendents across the state. And then we also had the combined Maryland Negotiating Services and the superintendent's group conference last week. And that was just a good time seeing what we're all dealing with together and just aligning. So it's a good time. Busy month. November will be equally busy.
I have 2 public service announcements before we get started on the next activity. This Saturday, November the 8th, is the War on the Shore Clay Target Championship. There are 4 Eastern Shore high schools that have clay target teams, and they'll battle it out for bragging rights. Easton High School, Kent County High School, Kent Island High School, and Queen Anne's County. I plan to be there in the morning. And just for, I don't know, there are a lot of people that just aren't necessarily paying attention. Sunday, November the 9th, is the Bay Bridge Walk. Eastbound span closes at 5 a.m. Westbound span will have one lane in each direction until they're finished. So if you gotta go, you need to plan your day. Plan that trip. I gotta go over to my mom's birthday. We're leaving 2 hours early just to get there on time.
I'm staying overnight Saturday because of it.
Smart move. All right, and now we get to public comment.
We ask all speakers to keep in mind the following guidelines. Speakers should sign the roster, including their telephone number and address. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes in length. Comments longer than 3 minutes should be submitted in writing. Statements to the board should relate to the matter of general policy over which the board has authority. Comments about the actions or statements of individual staff members are not appropriate for public comments and should be referred to the superintendent of schools or board president. If you have specific questions, the board will make sure an appropriate staff member responds to your question. The board respects your desire and right to convey your message freely, but asks as a courtesy to this board and our citizens that to show respect for all. And our first name is Mr. McNeil.
You don't have to leave because I'm going. Good evening. Richard McNeil, and representing the retirement group, and a couple of comments on my own. One, I want to say Dr. Strugengash, you did a good job at the football game. You made it out there and came back and didn't trip on the line at all, so I was real impressed. I'll be looking very carefully
No
tomorrow
pressure.
night. Hopefully we have a referee that doesn't throw the flag more than 12 times like they did on the other night. Anyway, one, I want to thank the board for the open house. I thought the comments were well taken from everybody, and it was interesting from my point of view to hear the architect explain how they came about from different directions about how this building came together. You know, you see a building going up and it's kind of tilted in every which way, and how he described how that came about. So I thought that was good, and thank you for all the comments, but the tour and everything else. Want to give a thanks out to our retirement group. They donated water bottles for the nurses. We were able to distribute 3 cases of water to each of the nurses in each school. And at the same time, at our October meeting, we decorated over 30 pumpkins that we delivered to Corsica Hills and some other individuals who are housebound for health reasons. And to see former teachers, secretaries, bus drivers, everybody else taking a pumpkin and just making it their own, that we should have filmed and put up here so you could all see that. As we go into, as I mentioned last time, there's a lot of our members are concerned about their health package as well as everybody else, and I'm sure you are also. But we do thank you for all your support on that. I have to remind myself that even in our retirement group, we have 2 groups, those who are over 65 and those who are under 60, because there's 2 different, or under 65, there's 2 different packages there. And since I'm in the older group, I'm more concerned about that, but we do appreciate all that you do to keep the costs down and to work with other counties to pull that together. So keep it up. Maybe keep it up on that part. One of the things that I also wanted to mention was that, Mr. Dreyer, as you mentioned, the sports teams and so forth, a shout out to the coaches. Having been a principal at the high school, coaches do an awful lot behind the scenes, not even on the field, but in the hallways, in the parking lots, in the classrooms and everything else. So just a shout out to them and the art directors and band directors and so forth, because I know competition is there. And thank you for.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else that has a comment?
Okay. For First, action of the night, can I get a motion for a vote on the human resources report?
I motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the HR report as presented.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Kent Island Dance Team, overnight trip.
So Miss Beaton and Miss Hart are going to present this while we wait on Mr.
Hopefully Mr. Pender is having a lot of fun. What's the score?
Not right now.
Oh, no.
That's okay. It's 2 sets to 1 set, Kent Island High School, and the score is currently 3-0 Kent Island.
Gotcha.
We'll see. However, we gave up a lead in the last one, so anything can happen with these games.
Volleyball.
So, good evening, President Bent. Good evening, Dr. Kibler, board members, and executive team. For the record, I'm Kate Beaton, Kent Island High School Athletic Director. This is Kaylee Hart. She is the dance coach that we have for both fall and winter. She even goes into the spring. But we wanted to come before you tonight to seek permission for the Kent Island High School varsity team to travel to Orlando, Florida. They'd like to compete in the Dance Team Union National Championship at the Orange County Convention Center from February 5th to February 9th. Approximately 10 of our students will be heading down with her and 4 other chaperones. They would like to attend the championship. If approved, each team member would be responsible for paying about $200 of the total cost. The remaining portion is going to be covered with fundraising that they've been working diligently to get all the funds in. All the details of the trip have been shared with you guys in the packet that you received via the board docs, and I was just wondering if you guys had any questions for us.
Do you need any people to carry
Chaperones?
bags and
Absolutely. Yes. We'll put you on the list.
Any of your fundraising that you do, and this goes for all athletics, please forward that. I'm sure the whole board will say, please forward that to the board so
Oh,
that we
absolutely.
can
Thank you.
help participate in your fundraising for these, because I think it's fantastic. What the school has a lot of trips coming up and things like
I
that.
appreciate that.
There's
Thank
a lot
you.
of fundraising going on that we'd like to support sometimes too.
Thanks.
Awesome. Any other questions?
No.
Can I get a motion? for
Um,
approval?
motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the Kent Island High School varsity dance team to travel to Orlando, Florida to compete in the Dance Team Union National Championship and no fiscal impact.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Who do you want me to text with final scores?
Yes. Mr. Bell.
Good evening, President Bent, Dr. Kibler, members of the board, executive team. For the record, my name is Michael Bell, Supervisor of Visual and Performing Arts, School Library Media, Title IV Part A, and MSD Fine Arts grants. This evening, I'm donning my performing arts hat, seeking board approval for 3 new high school courses: music technology, film and cinema, and commercial band for the inclusion in the 2026-27 high school program of study. As required, these new courses must be approved by the board so principals and school counselors can schedule them appropriately for students. The first course I bring before the board for approval is music technology. Now, this course, it'll allow students to use computers, MIDI keyboards, digital audio tools to sequence, arrange, compose, and record original music. This modernizes our pathway, it enhances music theory approaches, and gives students a hands-on contemporary production experience that connects directly to real-world music creation. There are no additional budget or staffing implications. This will utilize existing resources at both high schools, and I respectfully request the board approval for music technology course. Are there any questions?
I'm surprised this has not existed up until now. It's awesome.
And we have the keyboards and things that you already need?
Yeah, and
You already have the equipment?
yeah, we're using the existing equipment, and anything additional that'll come up, if we expand, it'll be done through grant work.
You currently have visual audio workstations that you're using?
They do have keyboards and workstations,
Okay.
yes.
the digital audio ones are like Pro Tools or Logic Pro or Ableton,
Yeah.
anything along those, maybe not that extensive, but.
Yeah, no, there are some districts right now that are going a CTE route with music technology, and we're opening the door to that, and eventually it would be wonderful to be able to bring Avid Pro Tools as a certification for the music technology. But right now, we're introducing it as baby steps, but both of our music teachers are excited about the opportunity to bring this before, yeah.
So I love this idea. I don't know if many people know, I went to Full Sail University for audio engineering, and that's what got me in some dub work, Foley work.
You're hired, we'll bring you on.
So when you say this is a pathway to CTE, I don't know if you got the email just as our closed session started.
It's
we're
an
working
opportunity
with-
for
we're
another
working with
certification, yeah.
The Chesapeake College, along with the commissioners right now, to expound on the CTE program. They've invited a couple of us into that too, so this going in there, I wish this was when we grew up, but this is a fantastic, it's what brought me up to this area too, working with the government, doing audio engineering. So, my question was just, having those interfaces, I just know how important having different ones that
It
can
is.
actually expound on this and they can actually teach at a proper, I don't know if that's the right word, proper level.
No, absolutely. And we are the nice thing is we do have a good partnership with colleagues that have gone the CTE route with it and expanded on some grant funds that way, so they're gonna help us onboard and get things rolling. So I look at it as an opportunity for us to maybe even in the future have a student be able to take this course while it's residing in the fine arts realm. They might also be able to get enough knowledge where they could not only go up to AP Music Theory and be able to pass that course, but they also could go that audio engineering route and maybe even pass the Avid Pro Tools certification, which would be amazing.
Absolutely. And for any of your future students that are interested in Full Sail, let me know. I still have contacts down there. It's an awesome school. It's completely different, so if they have questions, it's not your typical school. So if they have any questions about it, it's a fantastic institution.
That'd be great. Thank you.
I just wanted to point out to the board too, Mr. Bell's approach to bringing these courses up. I happened to be at his August professional development at the exact time that the teachers in the two high schools were presenting the ideas for these courses. And it was really interesting just to see that approach, having all the teachers together, the teacher that was interested in bringing this up, presenting about the course, and all of them kind of working together, like how does that fit, what are we going to cover, what might lead into it, what are the prereqs or not prereqs really in this case, but just so that the departments as a whole and across the district, everybody can be informed about what's going on and really just help students guide them into these courses. So I appreciate that approach, and I thought you all would like to do that too.
It was good timing when you stopped in there and we're getting the whole spiel from
Yeah,
Hillary Scully.
like I've planned it all along. Nothing to do with just how I was hitting all the schools, but.
Perfect.
Any other questions? Can we get a motion for approval?
I motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the new music technology 1-credit course for the 2026-2027 high school program of study, no fiscal impact.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the second course I am seeking board approval for is film and cinema. Students will explore the art and impact of film through the study of genres, filmmaking techniques, and influential directors. Students will also get to analyze cinematic language, and they will have opportunities to storyboard and potentially create short, original student films. There are no additional budget or staffing implications. This will utilize existing resources also at both high schools. I respectfully request board approval for the film and cinema course, and if there are any questions.
No? Make a motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the new film and cinema 1-credit course for the 2026-2027 high school program of study, no fiscal impact.
I second that.
All in favor?
Thank you. And the third course I'm seeking board approval for this evening is commercial band. So this course provides students with performance opportunities in a contemporary commercial genre such as rock, pop, R&B, jazz, integrating digital effects, collaborative rehearsals, and stage presence common to today's music industry. This course has the ability to actually reach a different type of musician. than our traditional band classes. For example, a student who plays electric guitar, bass, drums, sings, or may already be performing in a rock band outside of school, who wants a performance-based ensemble aligned to modern genres within the school setting, this would be the course for them. Again, there are no additional budget or staffing implications, that we will utilize existing resources at both high schools. And at this time, I respectfully request the board approval for the commercial band class. And if there are any questions.
Any questions?
I could just see how all three of those courses can come together and do an awesome project collaboratively.
I'm excited about these. Yeah, these are good.
Make a motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the new commercial band, 1 credit course for the 2026-2027 high school program of study, no fiscal impact.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, board members. Appreciate it.
Ms. Smith?
Good evening, President Ben, Dr. Kibler, members of the board and executive team. For the record, my name is Jolene Smith. I'm the Supervisor of Special Education, and I bring before you this evening two requests for non-public tuition. The first one is for a non-public tuition at Kennedy Krieger Institute at the Fairmount campus in the amount of $138,702.47. This would come from the budgeted restricted and unrestricted accounts, and both of these requests are would fall under that non-public tuition assistance reimbursement. So there is a portion of this that we recuperate from, or we receive back from MSDE.
Having reviewed both during closed session, can I get a motion to approve both?
Sure. The Queen Anne's, make a motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the non-public tuition for Kennedy Krieger Fairmount fiscal impact $138,702.47. The budget source is FY26 restricted and unrestricted operating budget. And then make a motion also to approve the non-public tuition for High Road of Anne Arundel County fiscal impact $54,317.09. Budget source FY26 restricted and unrestricted operating budget.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice evening.
You too. Mr. Darrow?
All right. Good evening, President Bent, Vice President Capes, board members, executive team, Superintendent Kibler. My name is Darryl Barraclough. I am the Supervisor of Facilities and Design. Before you this evening, we have the Design Services Award for Kennard Elementary School HVAC systemic renovation. Earlier this year in July, QACPS retained the services of Burdett, Kohler, Murphy and Associates, also known as BKM, to survey the existing conditions at Kennard Elementary School. From this survey, they developed a scope study document. The scope study document did two things for us. It provided us with a very detailed scope of work for the project, but it also did a cost evaluation of the intended project that was needed out there to completely renovate the HVAC system at the school. That revealed that the budget that we had set previously for the project was short, so we are seeking additional funding with our FY27 funds, both at the county and state level. But we do have enough money from the FY26 capital funds to move forward with the design. So utilizing the scope study that BKM completed earlier September 30th, we put out on the streets to 3 engineering firms who had previously worked with QACPS in the past. We solicited quotes from BKM, Geip Associates, and James Posey Associates. The services requested were for the complete heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systemic renovation, including requirements that were needed for the state review submissions, bidding assistance, and construction administration. So the quotes that we received on October 21st were as follows: BKM at $292,000, Geip Associates at $373,000, and James Posey Associates at $436,700. Funding for these services will be from county CIP FY26 funds, with constructions taking place over the summer of 2027. So with that, the award of the contract for $292,000 plus an additional $8,000 for miscellaneous reimbursable expenses, we are seeking approval for a contract award for design services of $300,000. Any questions?
Make a motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the contract with Burdette, Kohler, Murphy and Associates for the Kennard Elementary School HVAC system renovation, fiscal impact $300,000, budget source FY 2026, local funds.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next, I have the walk-in cooler, walk-in freezer that would be located at our warehouse facility. The need from this comes from the fact that the existing board building that we were located at Centerville High School had a walk-in freezer, had a walk-in cooler that was utilized for various things, including overflow and additional space that might be needed at a school if a unit goes down, those sorts of things. So what we are looking to do, obviously we did not incorporate a walk-in cooler and walk-in freezer at this facility. So what we were looking to do is add a walk-in cooler, walk-in freezer inside the existing warehouse at our warehouse facility right across the street. We reached out to three kind of local refrigeration companies. We reached out to Knox Refrigeration in Ardmore, Pennsylvania, Arbutus Refrigeration in Baltimore, and J. Kirby Refrigeration in Earlville, Maryland. With reviewing the proposals that we received, we are recommending utilizing the proposal from Arbutus Refrigeration at $81,565. Our recommendation is based upon a couple of different factors that were pointed out in the proposal packages that were included in the board docs. A few of the things that were noted in the low quote from Knox Refrigeration was that their warranty excluded labor that was associated with repairs, considering that they'd be coming from Ardmore, Pennsylvania for repairs that could mount up pretty quickly if there was some sort of warranty work needed. The second thing was a requirement for 100% of the payment in full before any material arrives on site or execution of any work. That's pretty out of the ordinary, even for this type of work. And then the third thing that they had required was the execution of an agreement that would allow them electronic access to our checking accounts for payment. And all that information is included in the quote package. So again, all of those are a little above and beyond what I would feel comfortable with recommending. And speaking with Mr. Watkins, we're not even sure how we would allow somebody electronic access to our checking accounts, considering our methods for payment on getting an invoice, requesting county reimbursement, and receiving that, and then paying out of those funds. So our recommendation is awarding to the second lowest, which is Arbutus Refrigeration at $81,565, which, by the way, they have done work for us in the county before, and they do have a pretty good track record with performance and warranty and callback. Any questions?
Motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the contract with Arbutus Refrigeration LLC for the installation of the walk-in cooler and freezer boxes at QACPS Warehouse, fiscal impact $81,565.00, budget source FY 2026, local funds.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Next is the contract award for the storefront replacement at Bayside Elementary School. Earlier in October 6th, Queen Anne's County Public Schools made plans and specifications available for the systemic replacement of the aluminum storefront systems at Bayside Elementary School. And for the record, storefront is basically the aluminum door systems that you have at the entrance of the school. This project also includes all of the windows and systems that are in each of the punched openings for all of the classrooms across the front and back sides of the school. It also includes the aluminum operable windows in the media center, art room, back cafeteria area, and other areas throughout the school, as well as all the exterior hollow metal doors and frames through the project. So the project consisted of the base bid, a bid alternate that upgraded the doors exiting the classrooms. They were a base bid of painted hollow metal, and the base bid improved them to aluminum. The bid alternate number 2 was for the replacement of the hollow metal doors and frames that I mentioned, and alternate 3 was to provide the vandal-resistant film to all of the new glazing surfaces throughout the project. On October 30th, bids were received with 5 pre-qualifying firms submitting bid packages. Shortly after the 2 p.m. deadline submission, QACPS opened and read aloud each of the bids in the order in which they were received. So we did receive 5 bid packages, and which is included within your package. You will see the breakdown in the bid tally of the various bids and the packages. So within our bid packages, we do require contractors to complete various items of information, things like an affidavit of qualification to bid. It basically says that there's no collusion, there's no types of fraud going on. We require a bid bond. We require various minority business enterprise information, but we also require that they acknowledge all pre-bid addenda that has been issued for the project. This project did have 2 pre-bid addenda that were posted. They were posted in the same manner as the drawing, so that information is posted to our website. It's the bidder's responsibility to check those websites before they put their documentation together to make sure that they have seen all of that addenda information, that they've incorporated those requirements into their documents, and it also does require that on their proposal form that they sign off on when they submit their bid, that they are acknowledging all of those addenda. So we opened bids. The first bid that was opened was from General Commercial Construction of Falls Church, Virginia. They failed to acknowledge either bid addendum 1 or bid addendum 2. So as a result of them not acknowledging the bid, our recommendation is that the board rejects their bid as being non-responsive to the bid package. Just for the board's information, I did reach out to our counsel on this matter, and they did acknowledge the same, they basically came to the same conclusion as I did, that that their bid is non-responsive. So our recommendation is that their bid be rejected as such and awarded to the next lowest bidder, which is Scheibel Construction of Huntingtown, Maryland. Our recommendation is an award to them for their bid of $1,217,000. That would be for base bid plus alternate 1, alternate 2, and alternate 3, plus a contingency of 10% for unforeseen conditions that may result through the construction, for a total encumbrance of $1,338,700. Funding for this project is FY26 state and local CIP, and we are within budget, so our recommendation is to award to Scheibel Construction. Any questions?
I have one.
Oh, you go.
I'm sorry, did you have one?
I do, but go first.
No,
You might answer.
I'm just trying to figure, how are they $350,000 less, the one in Virginia?
I don't know. Quite honestly, it could be something to do with the addendum. I'm not sure. The addendum did clarify some window sizes. It did also include clarifications to when they could work, when they couldn't work, how they needed to work around students and occupancy in the building, those sorts of things. I can't imagine that that's $300,000, but the fact that they are missing the addendum kind of precludes us from even questioning why they're $800,000. I mean, quite honestly, if they were $1 lower than Scheibel, our recommendation would be the same, that their bid be rejected. The reality of this is that if their bid were accepted, Scheibel, the second, would stand a very good grounds for a bid protest. That potential could wind us in court with a temporary restraining order preventing us from awarding. They would most likely win because Comar does recognize failure to acknowledge an addendum as a non-responsive bid. Our bid documents do go into a lot of detail on a non-responsive bid, and it does state that a non-responsive bid is it's uncurable, meaning that they can't clarify it after the fact, and that there's no solution for it after the bid opening. So the likelihood of it going that route, if we were to accept that low bid, would pretty much be
I get it, I just trying to understand the difference in the
Yep.
cost, but it's probably addendums. Ms. Eichler?
What is currently wrong with the items at Bayside Elementary? Like, what is the repair, like, you mentioned the storefront and it's the frames in the front. Are they not up to code? Are they not safe? Are they not?
They're worn out.
Okay.
It's just simply worn out. Right now, we actually, this past summer, we replaced a couple of the door hinges, and what they had previously were the standard hinges that you kind of see here, where you have the 1.5 pairs on each side. And quite honestly, the aluminum, they've been tightened so many times, and just the normal wear and tear on them, it's loosened to where maintenance can't even go out there and adjust the doors to where they're dragging. And the biggest problem is that when they drag, they don't close. So when they don't close, they don't latch, and when they don't latch, the doors are open and unlocked. So it's a big security issue.
Gotcha. Okay.
So in order to kind of take care of the whole project in one fell swoop, we're doing all of them around the entire perimeter. It should improve energy efficiency and all the other things that people are going back with low E glass. So it should improve the energy consumption for the school as well.
Motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to reject the bid submitted by General Commercial Construction of Falls Church, Virginia, as being non-responsive, and approve the award of construction contract to Scheibel Construction for base bid plus alternates 1, 2, and 3, plus contingency for the replacement of the storefront at Bayside Elementary School. Fiscal impact is $1,338,700,000. Budget source FY 2026 state funds $608,500, 0 cents. FY 2026 local CIP funds $730,200 and 0 cents.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Watkins?
Good evening, President Bent, board members, Dr. Gibler, executive team. For the record, my name is Rob Watkins, Interim Chief Financial Officer. Tonight, I bring before you the draft 2026 fiscal year. Can you believe that we're getting ready to start the fiscal year 27 budget? So I'm here to present you timeline and calendar for a development of the fiscal year 27 budget.
So I'll just say that we have been doing this historically for I don't know how many years, coming to the board to approve this calendar. I think it's still unclear if this actually requires a vote or not, or if it can just be an information item. I don't know if there's any advice from the end of the table on that, but we are keeping with tradition, and here's what we're setting out for you.
So on October 1st, at our last board meeting, you guys heard from Daryl regarding our CIP plan and our maintenance plan, both approved by you guys. Last week at our administrators and supervisors meeting, we presented them with the budget forms that we're going to use to collect feedback from the schools and the departments in our district. And we also provided some feedback and some professional learning around the forms. They changed a little bit this year to be a little more comprehensive, to collect more feedback and a wider range of items from our schools and our departments. Tonight, we're presenting to you the proposed calendar. November 12th, we will share a conversation with our Citizens Advisory Council and School System Improvement Committee about budget, our process, sharing some of the stuff we presented to you about Blueprint, and make connections to academic learning and our achievement. November 20th, we're requesting that the schools and departments send their budget request forms to me. We would then go through a series of meetings with each of the departments and schools between November 21st and December 2nd to hear about and note on, annotate the budget requests. On December 3rd, the executive team will pull together everything and begin organizing said requests. December 10th, during our monthly administrator and supervisors meeting, we have our budget roundtable discussion in which we discuss priorities for our district. And then we have our board meeting in January. On January 21st, hopefully we'll have the proposed preliminary budget from the governor's office so we can get an idea on what our state aid looks like. And then from there, we use the board meetings and our work sessions in February to get ourselves together for a formal presentation of the budget on March 4th. Of course, we need to have a budget in the hands of the Commissioner's office at the beginning of March, so at this time, this is when we would go through all the work to get to a place where we would submit that budget. And then the rest of the meetings, March 4th, April 1st, May 6th, June 3rd, are all regularly scheduled board meetings. We do have a June 17th work session scheduled to making adjustments based on the budget provided to us from the Commissioner's office. And then if everything goes all well, the commissioners have our budget and off we go into fiscal year 27. So I'm asking for approval for this.
You want me to weigh in on that?
I would like to.
So as Mr. Watkins explained, the deadline is the deadline for the board to submit its proposed budget to the county. Now, as far as you all setting up a budget development calendar, that's governing the process by which the administration is developing the budget to make a final recommendation to the board in advance of the date by which the board makes a recommendation to the county. So you can do either, but I see you have it, because the action item is going to ultimately be the one in March to adopt the budget based on a recommendation from the administration. So as far as right now, adopting a calendar, you can do an action or an information, but if tradition has been action, then that's fine too. It's not necessarily a board action until you adopt the budget. Right now, it's an administrative process to make a recommendation. So I see what you have here.
So we will still continue to bring this to you because we want you to be a part of the whole process, but.
Which we should be.
I think it's a fine tradition to keep it as is.
Make it official.
Yeah.
Make it official.
Official.
All right. Any other questions or comments?
Motion for the Queen Anne's County Board of Education to approve the fiscal year 2026-2027 budget development calendar.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, sir.
And when we get to future meetings and events later in the agenda, I'm going to formally ask the board to send 2 representatives to our budget roundtable.
I was going to ask you about that.
That's on my list.
Mr. Page and friends.
It's already up there, Mr. Page.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Thank you. There it is. right, good evening, President Bent, Dr. Gibler, board members, executive team. For the record, my name is Michael Page. I am a supervisor of instruction. I oversee environmental literacy, health, physical education, science, Title I Part A and Title I Part C. And today I bring you the presentation for our water safety program. And I have two guests that would like to introduce themselves.
Yeah, I'm Laura Feller, the Membership and Wellness Director for the Queen Anne's County Family YMCA.
And I'm Brian Burns. I'm the Executive Director at the Queen Anne's County Family YMCA. Colby Tuma was planning on attending, but a lifeguard called out. So he is currently guarding our pool at the moment. So apologies for him not being here.
All right, so the purpose today is to provide the Queen Anne's County Board of Education with the overview of the water safety program for the 25-26 school year. I just wanted to provide the board with a background of how this came about. Last year, we had, fall of last year, we were finally got access to a pool, and we're so happy that it's right down the street from us. And we approached the YMCA with the opportunity to do a water safety program, and they loved the idea and jumped on board right away, and I can't thank them enough for that. It was really something that both of us really wanted to have happen for our community, and it was a great opportunity, and we took all of that time to really go through, analyze some of the things that they were doing on their end in terms of the program at the YMCA, and then how this has existed in other school systems. In the spring, we did a pilot. So this spring, we did a pilot with Kennard Elementary. It was a walking field trip. So you can imagine all these kids walking down the street, super excited to get into the pool. There was a lot of energy there. It was a great pilot, and it went very well, and it was well received by the students. You can imagine them going to the pool during school, and then it was well received by the parents who helped attend our offices and the YMCA. And we took some of the things we learned and revised some of the programming that some things worked, some things didn't work, and it really was a great opportunity just to run through the program once with Kennard and plan out the rest of the year. And I'm happy to say we have Churchill Elementary School, Kennard, and Sothersville Elementary School. They have gone through the program this fall, and we look forward to Graysonville, Mattapique, and Bayside going through in the spring. So really the program really combines the classroom instruction and hands-on activities in the pool. It ensures that students learn about water safety and practicing these skills in a controlled, safe environment. The program aligns with the Maryland Health and Physical Education Standards, and it focuses on the importance of water safety and developing the fundamental skills the students need to stay safe in and around the water. And Ryan?
Yeah, so this is our pool. It is a 6-lane, 25-yard competitive pool. So part of what we use it for, in addition to water safety programming, is we do host Queen Anne's High School swim team, and we do our swim lessons, group exercise, water aerobics, and those types of things. There's a spot on the far side of that it's almost a zero entry where we're able to utilize for swim lessons and other programming as well. And so, yeah, that's right across the street. So with the pool experience, we split it up into a classroom and a pool active space. And so with the water part, we did a lot of the implementation of the things that they learned either coming to the Y or in the classroom portion that Laura put on. And so some of the things up there, we did talk about the help and huddle process. We talked about reach, throw, don't go. We did some other activities of like, what can you use to float if you're out in the water and can't swim anymore, and so we kind of reenacted some of that. And so really by looking at it, as an outsider, you would have thought that it was just kids kind of having fun in the pool, but it was all around, the experience and helping them to practically see how to be safe in the water.
You said something about a huddle?
Yes,
Help
yeah.
and huddle.
Yeah, so help and huddle is when you're in the water. So the help is heat escape lessening position, so it's kind of where you ball yourself up in the water. And then the huddle is if you're with a group, you all huddle together to stay warm.
Gotcha.
And you just learned something today as well.
I sure did. That was
It's
awesome.
working all over the place. It's great, so, yeah.
Is this just for the elementary schools, or
This
will
is
it be?
third grades specifically.
Okay, third grades, okay.
Yeah, you learned all my stuff. Yeah, I taught the classroom portion. So this is our stay and play. We had a lovely individual who built us that boat. And so we have integrated a little bit of boater safety in it. The main purpose of this, there shouldn't be a kid on the Eastern Shore that doesn't know what to do if they fell in the water or if a friend fell in the water. And that's the purpose of it. That's why we started at third grade. Any younger than that, it's really just not developmentally appropriate as far as like putting a second grader in that position. The kids love the classroom portion, and it's an opportunity for us to set the scene before they're even given access to get into the water. So we did a whole buddy system. We were in the classroom. We talked about life jacket, how to properly fit yourself in a life jacket, what it should and should not feel like when you're wearing one. What to do when you're on a boat and the grown-ups in charge aren't making good choices, how you should, keep yourself safe. In addition to, we talked about the importance of a lifeguard. We really introduced that the lifeguard is there to help you, and at the Y are certain expectations as to what we expect of you and the respect, because most of our lifeguards are actually Queen Anne's County high school students that come over after school and sit in the stand for us. So the idea of it being a community and you're going to recognize that person that's in the guard stand. The other piece of it we didn't really talk about is reach, throw, don't go comes down from the American Red Cross. If you are with your friend at the wharf and they fall in but you're on dry land, you don't go into the water to get your friend. You should either reach something to them, you should throw something that floats, and you should use your playground voice to get a grown-up's attention. Like, use the skills that you have as a third grader. It's just, we want to equip them with the skills that they need, because I'll drive by that wharf and there's always kids on the other side of the railing fishing. So what do we do when that happens? And that's our goal as the Y, that no kid doesn't know what to do when they fall in. It was great. It's good fun.
Yeah, and some of the things that we changed, Brian had mentioned, we actually introduced a introductory lesson to the students so that they would be familiar with the YMCA when they came. So if you haven't been to the YMCA, you haven't been in the pool, you haven't seen the facilities, we created a PowerPoint for the teachers to show the students, and so they would be familiar when they walked in, they knew what to do. They also had some instructional materials that would help support prior to them going. So those were some of the things that we did to enhance the program as we went forward. But overall, the water safety is a critical skill that helps prevent accidents and save lives. Each year, children face water-related injuries or drowning. By teaching the students the importance of water safety, we help to develop the knowledge and skills to protect them and the others in the aquatic environment. Our partnership with the YMCA in Centerville ensures that all students will receive high-quality instruction and practical experiences, preparing them to handle water situations safely and in the future. And so that,
While I have a mic.
yeah.
Well,
go
can
ahead.
I say something about this though,
Yes.
before you? So I think we're gonna take an opportunity to talk about other partnerships that we
Yeah.
have with you all, which is great. But just to wrap up this partnership, one thing we didn't talk about there is just the cost. And maybe that's on your mind, maybe it's not, but it should be. So really thankful for the partnership with the Y, basically picking up all of the labor, the facilities. We're not paying for anything there. All we're paying for is the transportation. So this is a great opportunity for our students that really costs us the buses. The teachers go with their students. We have parent volunteers that act as chaperones, but the Y is providing use of the facility for free, their staff for free. And I think they're going to talk about some other things too, but I just wanted to wrap up that piece of it. Hate to bring back to the business part and overshadow the other pieces, but that's a part of this as well.
We love a budget. I love to keep it under, yeah. It is. It's more. And it's more. We always are saying like we're more than a gym. We're the YMCA, and that does take a little bit of like re-education when people just say, "Oh, I got to go work out at the gym." Yes, you do, and that's a big part of it. And wellness is more than that, though. And we're trying as we just started our second year. We just had our second birthday, so we've started our third year in this building over here, just to better explain to the community like our purpose of even being built. We've waited 20 years for that building to be built, and it was built through member donations. We don't have a mortgage because people in this town believed in what we do, and so we were able to build that building, and so we just immediately hit the ground running with being able to offer things back. I made a list of the things that are specifically related to QACPS. In addition to hiring your students and some of your educators as part-time jobs, we offer y'all a QACPS discount. If you don't know, you can come get a 20% discount off your YMCA membership, and we don't charge you the joining fee. Y'all have the largest number. It's about 400 memberships that are taking advantage of that. So that's a big offering to the health and well-being of all of your staff and faculty. We write in teen time into our gym schedule. We have about 75, maybe 100 high school and middle school kids that walk across the street now, thanks to the sidewalk built by the commissioners. So now the middle school and high school kids can walk across the street. We build in teen time so that they have somewhere to be, to play basketball, pickleball, to just be with their friends. We have Wi-Fi, they do their homework there. And then this year we were awarded a grant for middle school and high school after school programming. And so we started the first 6 weeks after financial literacy, we did art, and then we had a Zumba class that one of our instructors offered. We're gonna keep that going all the way through the end of the school year. Next 6 weeks, I believe, is gonna offer again financial literacy, yoga class for the students, middle school and high school level, and
We're looking at tutoring.
tutoring, Monday through Friday. So we are looking, we've already reached out to Ms. Herlock at the high school to see who all maybe would want to come over, help with middle school and high school level tutoring. We also have a lot of members that are former educators, so it's going to be a group effort. Sid Pinder sits on Brian's leadership council, so yay to Mr. Pinder. We're also one of the emergency evacuation sites for the high school. We're working as kind of this new building is here, of where our role is and how we can be helpful. We're still a character counts business, and I've got 3 new staff people who want to now be active coaches. So we're going to see how we can put Y staff into the schools. We know all of them already anyway. And then we also have a 6th grade initiative, which is every 6th grader gets a free membership for the duration of their 6th grade year. It does cater more to Centerville. Obviously kids from the island can't really get up here after school, but they can come and work out on the weekends. And that's just a little bit of responsibility. 11 to 15-year-olds can have access to the wellness floor. We teach them how to use the equipment, what we expect of them as far as their decorum, their dress code. We just have a few different rules than they are coming over with. And just teaching them you're one small part of a big group and act accordingly. And that's our mission. And the last thing is the athletics. Brian mentioned the swim team. We host Queen Anne Swim and swim meets and swim practices, but we also have JV basketball and middle school basketball are going to be making use of our gym. And that's just the beginning. We're very excited.
Very excited.
Awesome.
Do you all have any questions about the water safety program or any questions about the YMCA?
Is it a single field trip, or is it,
Yeah.
what's the frequency
Oh,
So-
exposure.
so
An
the-
a week.
Yes, so it's every class comes once for
Okay.
1 day.
Okay.
It's planned for after lunch from 12 to 2:30.
Okay.
So they spend half the time in the water and half the time in the classroom.
And then we just switch the groups.
Switch.
Mhm.
And then do you guys, outside of school time, does the Y offer swim lessons now?
Yes. Registration's open.
And it's for members or non-members, so you
Yep.
don't have to be a member of the Y to take place.
Let's,
As well
Thank
as
you.
the summer camps, a lot of our students take advantage.
Summer camps. Thank you for
Online.
Kennard.
is all the pricing online?
For camp? Or
Just in general, like all of it? Okay.
Yes, but the front desk love talking to people, so if you call,
Okay.
or you can
Come
come
by.
over and visit
Okay.
and look at it for yourself. But yeah, that's all online.
Perfect.
Mhm.
I can attest to that. I went over prior to the ribbon, or was the ribbon cutting, and Miss Laura showed me around, and we had an
Excellent.
extensive conversation, so I greatly appreciate
I
it.
love
Thank you.
talking.
That's why I let her do all of it.
So good at it.
Well, I want to thank you personally for all your help and support, and
We
I
was-
get a big shout out to Colby. He
Yeah.
did an amazing job. Colby's our aquatics coordinator, and he sat with us for hours trying to, work out how this was going to work and the logistics, and so big shout out to Colby. I know he wanted to be here tonight, but
Graduate of Queen Anne's County High
that's
School.
right.
Queen
That's
Anne's
right.
That's
School.
right.
That's right.
Went to Churchill, Sutherland.
You got it. You got it.
And Mama
So when
works
they
at
came,
Queen's
he was super excited. Just so you know, when his schools came, he was so excited to see them and participate with them and be able to teach them. So it wasn't awesome.
He stepped up his game a little bit that day.
He did. He did.
His dad will be glad to hear that because he's watching.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. You did great, Dad. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
partnership.
Thanks for sticking around too. That was a long wait.
Rob.
Yeah. You can cheer for us.
Mr. Watkins.
Good evening again.
Good evening.
For the record, Rob Watkins, Chief Financial Officer, interim here in Queen Anne's County Public Schools, and I have a guest with me.
I'm Audrey McHenrick with UHY LLP. I'm the independent auditor for the board.
We are here to discuss, to share with you all the financial statements from fiscal year 25. And you can find them online attached to this item.
And I'm going to go through these very briefly, but please, if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out. Are you gonna,
Yep.
if you want to? So the first thing, so there's two reports in these financial statements. Those are found on pages 3 through 7. The first report is the independent auditor's report.
I'm sorry. Are we looking in the book or on the line?
Either one. I'm sorry. You guys have the copy. The green book is a hard copy of the online version. It's the thicker book.
Okay.
The other book is a
That was what I
document
was
communications between the auditor and Queen Anne's County Public Schools.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for printing this.
What page?
So page 3 is the independent auditor's report. And in that report, in the opinion section, we have issued an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level of assurance that we can give as auditors. That's a clean opinion with no issues to bring to your attention. The second report that starts on page 6 is a report on internal control and compliance. And similar to the auditor's report, during our testing, we found no issues with internal control or compliance that we need to bring to your attention. The next section of the report, starting on page 9, and it runs from page 9 through 16, is the management discussion and analysis. And this is really just a high-level overview of what occurred in fiscal year 25, and that's from management's perspective, kind of at a more user-friendly analysis of the year than what's in the financials. Jumping to page 17 is where the financial statements start. So starting on page 18 through page 23 are your government-wide and government fund financial statements. So there's two different sets of financial statements presented. The government-wide are full accrual. I'm going to actually draw your attention to page 20 and 21, which is the governmental fund financial statements. Those are presented on a modified accrual basis, so it's more of closer to actual cash flow resources rather than full accrual. And the only thing I want to draw to your attention there is on page 20, under total governmental funds, you'll see your total fund balance at the end of the year was sitting right around 5.7 million. That's an increase from the prior year of 3.6 million. So you saw your unassigned fund balance go from a deficit in the prior year of about 650,000 to actually an actual unassigned fund balance of 1.3 million that's available. So that was very positive and in the right direction compared to the prior year. The next set of financials starts on page 24, and that's your statement of fiduciary net position. And that's basically, you have funds in a trust fund for future retiree health benefits, and that just documents that. And then you also actually serve as a custodian for regional education funds. So those aren't necessarily your funds, but you serve as kind of like as the agent for the processing of those transactions for that group, show on those statements. Following that, pages 26 through 51 are the notes to the financial statements, and these are very similar year to year. No new notes to bring to your attention. The numbers within those change somewhat, but the actual what's in there has not changed significantly. This basically goes over your accounting policies. There's disclosures about your capital assets, which would be your buildings and your buses, pension disclosures and OPEB disclosures, things that are required for us to disclose in here, but no change, again, in the wording or how any of that was treated year to year. And so if you'll turn to page 53 in the very back under the required supplementary information. On page 53 is the schedule of revenues, expenditures, and encumbrances, budget to actual. So this is usually the schedule, and I know it shows up on page 53 that everybody's most concerned about, because this shows your original budget, your final budget, and then your actual revenues and expenditures for the year. And that includes, again, all expenditures and all encumbrances, which your encumbrances aren't included on those earlier statements that we presented. And looking at that, if you look at total revenues exceeded the budget amount by about 2.6 million. About 2.63 million, I'll say. About 2.61 of that is restricted funding. That comes from either federal, state, or local sources and has to be used for a specific purpose. So your unrestricted revenues exceeded your unrestricted budget by about $17,000 for the year. And then down under expenditures, total expenditures and encumbrances, total budget was $125.4 million, and then actual expenditures were $126.2 million. But again, that includes those restricted programs where you received additional funding for those. If we strip those out, you were about 1.8 million under budget in total expenditures for the year. And then after that are additional schedules required for pension and OPEB. I'm not going to go through any of those unless someone has a question. And then there's additional supplementary information in the back. But that's all I have for the financial report. Unless someone has a question or comment, I would be happy to answer anything if anyone's got any questions.
Sounds like everything went really well, so I'm sure the entire board will say thank you for the hard work that you've done, Mr. Watkins, you and your team, but on top of that, I'm sure Dr. Kibler and his staff have done, turning around our budget from what it was before you got in to where it is now. This just shows your hard work, and we appreciate it.
And I would second that. I think this was, I think we issued these reports, I can't remember the exact date on them, it was up here, but earlier than we issued on September 29th. They're due to MSDE by September 30th, but we had plenty of time for you to review those. It was a much smoother year this year than it has been since I started as the auditor. So I appreciate you and your staff as well for that.
And thank you for your guidance and all the help you provided.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to echo, we'll have a love fest here, but thank you for all your hard work. But I just want to go back to the fund balance piece as well. That is huge for us to go from that deficit last year to now this, and this is.
So what is our fund balance?
Around 1.3 million.
Okay.
And
The
so.
unassigned, yeah.
Yeah, unassigned. It's higher than that, but that's kind of like what we could use if something emergency happened. But that's after a few years of the board having to vote to go to waive the fund balance policy. It sounds like a lot of money, but Mr. Watkins will be quick to remind me and the public that represents just over 1% of our total budget. And what that really allows us to do is breathe a little easy, like a few years ago when the elevator broke at the beginning of the school year at Queen Anne's County High School. That's something that we know that we can tap into without having to like all of a sudden go into emergency mode to cover. Last year, how did we get to this point? Last year, if we had a teacher or a position be vacant in the mid-year, we might not have necessarily filled it, knowing that we had that deficit in fund balance. Where we're at this year, now as soon as we have a position vacant, we make sure as a team that we do think that that's a mission critical position, but we're posting it right away to try to get it filled because it ultimately goes back right to help the students. So that cushion is just nice for us to have. Again, we're not really tapping into it, but we know we have it, and we're definitely happy we're on the plus side and not the minus side. But I echo, it's the team's work, it's Mr. Watkins' work, and continue in that path.
Thank you very
I
much.
just want to give everybody a big old hug.
We got lots more to cover, so
That's
Keep going.
thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, really
Appreciate you.
appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
everyone. Have a good night. You too.
And you guys are stuck with me for the next couple sessions. The next item is the review of the fiscal '26 budget. So on the agenda are two budget sheets that kind of continue to track. This is our monthly tradition of sharing our tracking and our budget sheets as we spend out. This particular month, you're going to see a pretty significant reduction in the available balance compared to last month's. And that is mostly attributed to the encumbrance of our bus contractor contracts. Last month it was not on there. This month it is encumbered as part of the contract. And you see that in category 9.
That's
So-
just, and I would just say that's just following sort of, we're still in that beginning of the year.
That's
You
right.
remember the month before or so, we hadn't had the new teacher year, the 10-month contracts encumbered in there yet, and so this is just kind of the
It's
process.
a stair-stepping process. It takes time to get everything together. So there's that. Are there any questions about the budget as it sits? Awesome. Then let's talk blueprint. Everyone's favorite topic. Minimum school funding. So tonight I'm going to follow up a presentation I presented to you last in September on. We're going to review the blueprint budgets for our schools as an aggregate and talk through the minimum school funding. And this is, of course, in alignment with Pillar 5, Governance and Accountability. A reminder of where the expectations are for this year and the coming years. 75% of our funding must be attributed to the school level. The steps we have to take is, by December, 50% progress to 75% compliance as gauged by our budget needs to be there. By June, we need to see that 50% progress to be compliant based on the expenditure side. So obviously it's too early in the year to judge anything on budget, so on expenditures. So this time of year we're doing budget, by the end of the year and on is expenses. By the end of fiscal year 27, we must be 100% compliant with this. 100%, 75% at all schools. So why 75% and not 100% there? So the blueprint law requires that at least 75% of the funds be spent at the school level. It says at most 25% may be spent to support centralized expenses. Each month we report on the 15th, by the 15th, actually we've already reported ours for period 4 as of today. They're due on the 15th, and that shows our spending through the period, which is a month. So period 4 is the month of October. So it shows the spending through period 4 and the total through the entire year. And that is what the AIB and MSD uses to kind of judge whether we're on progress to spend. Reminder, these are the items, when you open up your budget book, these are the boxes are what the blueprint encompasses. It is foundation, it is college and career readiness, it is compensatory education, community schools, multilingual learner, special ed, TSI, and pre-kindergarten. Remember that when you look at our budget book, the foundation, each of these things has a state share and a local share. In this particular slide, you're looking at the foundation, which shows the state share at $23 million and the local share at $42 million plus for a total of $66 million for our foundation. And that includes $455,000 set aside for career counseling, workforce board. Just a real quick reminder, we went over this in a previous presentation, but I left it in a slide for everyone to see. This is how the funding comes down. For each eligible student that is present in the categories, there's a certain per pupil allocation that's given for that. So we get our totals by looking at each of the per pupil allocations multiplied by the total number of eligible students for each of the categories. I leave transportation on here. This transportation, we get about $4.5 million from the state. That's not per pupil allocation, and we spend about $10 million, so the rest of it's picked up by our local autonomy. So this is how it all looks when you add it all up and you put it all together. So our total blueprint funding that we report to is $102,167,823. And you can see how it's broken down in each of the statute categories that we just kind of discussed. The career counseling, $455,000, is technically a part of foundation, so when you add that number to the $65.5 million, you'll get the 66 on the previous slide. And community schools personnel is another stream of revenue that we have for Sudlersville Elementary School and Sudlersville Middle School. That is also not tracked through this particular reporting process, but it is still a state fund that contributes to $102 million. So what are our next steps towards compliance? Like all other districts, there's still tons of work to be done. After meeting with many CFOs last week, we are all working to get our revenue streams in alignment and to get our accounting structures in alignment so that we can report this stuff. I'm happy to report that, when I first got here, it was taking us weeks to get this report right. We can get it done in about 4 hours now. So we've structured the accounting system in a way that we're able to see clearly what is coming out of our system and then verify it against their system. And Mr. Sean Sweeney is one of our data folks that help us with this, and he's really helped guide us a long way to get us there. One thing I do want to highlight is, so as we're working towards this compliance, we did hit a little hiccup in fiscal year 25. We basically reran fiscal year 25 with the same structures that we ran in 26 to get to the ease and level, so we get to an apples to apples comparison from fiscal year 25 to 26. In doing that, it basically showed that we were not, from an accounting standpoint, we're not showing the money in the right buckets. Okay, doesn't mean we weren't spending the money on the children in the right buckets. It doesn't mean the money wasn't hitting the ground. It just means from an accounting standpoint, we couldn't report it accurately. We fixed that now, but I point out to you that when you look at the fiscal year 25 budget, we had nothing in College of Career Readiness, very little in Comp Ed, nothing in multilingual and TSI.
And just for sake of example, for you all and for people watching, I'll say two things to that. We're going to come back to this slide when we get to the next agenda item, but also just for sake of example, CCR, that's the College and Career Readiness. That's the big hit there, the big expense there is our dual enrollment. And so I think we spent somewhere upwards around $350,000 in fiscal year 25 in dual enrollment. That's showing zero. Again, it's just because the accounting structure didn't tag to that expense properly. We were only required to spend 75% of $183,000. We spent $350,000 total. It's just the accounting world in FY25 wasn't caught up to where we're at now. Thanks.
Well, we are happy to show some progress in our schools. And so the accounting work is still not 100% done, but we've come far enough to show that we can, but we're at least 75% at the aggregate at each of the buildings. So as it kind of comes down, you can kind of look at how the money is spent, or at least allocated. Excuse me.
What's up with the 113%?
That's right. So that is how it's currently allocated in our system. There's lots of things that contribute to that. So when you look at the per pupil, the total funding, the total funding for each of the buildings is representative. If you go back to the slides that shows the per pupil calculations. So when you look at all the aggregations of the student counts in each of the buildings multiplied by the specific per pupil allocation, you get to the total funding. So when you look at the budgeted items, what you're looking at there is how the money is currently laying out inside of our system. So right now, the 113% at middle shows that. We're not done moving the pieces around. I wanted to show this to you because there's a lot of systems that have not hit the 75% at each of the schools yet, and we have. We know the money needs to get to the students. That's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. So we wanted to present a happy slide that gets us to a place where we know the money is getting there. No. It is good. And as we get there, we will re-examine how the funds are allocated, and that's part of the process that we are going to go through. So before we jump into the next thing, this is where we are, and I think this is going to jump into a couple other questions. So 75% of the funding must be attributed to school. So we've achieved that in our fiscal 26 budget on the budget side so far. By December, we think that we will be 50% progress to 75% compliant on on our budgets. You see, we're already kind of there at the aggregate. By June, we have to have 50% progress on that 75% compliant based on expenses. That one's a little more challenging. So right now we're making everything sit where it's supposed to sit. How it spends out will be directly tied to what's there to spend out. So if you're in a school that has 1, 2, 3 people sitting on one of those statutes, and for some reason somebody leaves for 3/4 of the year or half a year until we find somebody, there's going to be a lag in the spending on that. So we're just going to have to keep monitoring that and figure out how to fix that.
So we've talked for the past few years with the board about penalties associated with the blueprint when we're not in compliance. And one of the big penalties that's out there, which the AIB has not done and really doesn't want to do, is being able to withhold funding if you're not meeting your blueprint requirements. What is not clear right now, well, it's clear we need to at least budget this way, which Mr. Watkins is showing us that we have budgeted that way. The caution is what happens when the expenses at the end of the year for like somebody leaving in the middle of the year or whatever, and you can't fill a position. What's the penalty for some of those things that are basically out of our control? And that's still unclear at this point. I believe that it's going to come with some sort of a warning from the AIB just saying, what's the process to fix this and try to not let this happen in the future. But I want to be perfectly clear with the board. We don't know what that is, and there are 24 school districts, 23 others that are wondering that, because we are nervous. I mean, if you look at the community school funding, if we would lose one of the 2 employees that are on that all of a sudden and not be able to fill it for 6 months just because we can't get a qualified applicant, we wouldn't meet that that statute. And so that's a concern, and it wouldn't be for lack of trying.
Just to go back to your question about the larger percent, there's lots of things that contribute to how that could be. There could be places where there's younger professionals in seats as opposed to more towards the end of career folks. So they cost more money. And when you look at like a middle school setting, in general they have the same kind of setup with the core teachers and the unified arts. So something has to do with how the students are situated in there.
And it also, I mean, the reality of this is, the makeup of the student body matters for this.
It does. It sure does. So that's the end of the presentation. Are there any other questions that I can answer for you about Blueprint?
Nope.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Yep.
Dr. Kibler, update on the blueprint.
Continuing those thoughts, can you maybe hang there in case we want to put that slide back up? Thank you, Mr. Watkins. So I just wanted to update the board a little bit about what's going on in Blueprint world. First off, so we had what the AIB has called a progress monitoring meeting. We had that in the middle of October. It was a 3-hour meeting, I believe, in Annapolis. Myself, Dr. Schreckengast, Mr. Watkins, Dr. Knoll, and Mr. Tolley attended that. And that was our first time since the blueprint came around that the AIB met with us individually to talk about progress on implementing the blueprint specifically in our district. We had AIB staff there, we had MSDE staff there, we also had 3 AIB board members that sat in on the meeting as well. 3-hour meeting, we went pillar by pillar, a half hour on each pillar, talking about implementing the blueprint in the school district. We were also allowed to round out that 3 hours to bring up our own topic. So that's why we invited Mr. Tolley to come along to talk about our CTE programming in Queen Anne's County, as well as what we're doing with career counseling. I think you all know it's something we're very proud of, how we consider ourselves leaders in the state in those areas, and we thought it very important to highlight that while we were there. The overall tenor of the meeting was extremely positive, very supportive board members there. We were able to show how Queen Anne's County Public School is shining in all ways. Pillar 1 with our pre-K rollout, Pillar 2, what we're doing with staff development and the career ladder. Pillar 3 is that CCR standard, so it's what we're doing really with the academic program. Pillar 4 is the more resources for students to be successful. That's where community schools fall in. And then we got to Pillar 5 as well. I do want to say we did a state of the data presentation with you all last month where we reviewed our MCAP data, and we were asked about that at the AIB meeting, just so everybody here and watching knows. I think we mentioned last month that there is a general uptick in the state with about a 2% increase in math and ELA scores across the state. And as we pointed out and we all talked about, there was a slight dip in our scores in that same period of time. And we were asked about that. I explained some of the reasons why, just like I did last month. And I said, we will not make excuses though in Queen Anne's County. We will outline what we feel like kind of led to that. But I was also very quick, and Dr. Schreckengoss helped me to share what we are doing about that. And we talked about that last month as well. The meeting was extremely positive. The board members wished the district well in everything we're doing. They wished me well as an interim superintendent as well as the staff. They were satisfied with what we're doing here. It was great. Eventually, the follow-up from that meeting will become public. I don't know exactly how or when. I will share with the board how that happens. I guess it's just going to be meeting summaries on their website. They will also start posting data dashboards, what they went over with us. That will become public as well on the AIB website, just like our implementation plans over the past couple years. I do want to talk, so that's kind of the meeting. Does anybody have any questions about that, just sort of the meeting and where we're at in general on that? Okay. So I do want to bring the board up to speed on some other blueprint stuff that's happening and some statutory requirements that are going on in relation to blueprint over the next few months. By December 1st, the AIB has to issue to districts across the state any sort of warning letter for any piece of the blueprint that the district is in trouble of not meeting that could potentially trigger them to withhold some level of funds from us, which would be new blueprint funds up to 25%. And that's withheld, meaning once we get in compliance, we would receive that money. So by December 1st, they have to issue those warning letters, and the consequence could happen in February. And you have that time in between to fix it. This is going on across the state. It can happen for a variety of reasons. I want to be very clear to the board. We are resolving issues, but there are 2 potential letters that we could receive, and I'm not going to hide from it. That's why I'm sharing with it today. I'm confident that we are moving in the right direction, but I won't hide from this stuff either. The first is we could potentially receive a warning letter for our fiscal year 25 budget, and maybe we should bring that slide back up. And specifically, it's because we were not progressing throughout last year well enough in those areas, having our budget pointing to those statutes and our expenditures. We believe that the AIB, as a result of this meeting, is extremely proud and happy with where we are in FY26 and what we are doing to get ourselves on the right track. Not only is Mr. Watkins got the accounting structures in place now and continues to work on that, but we are also showing that at the aggregate level, we are meeting that 75% at every school, which is showing that we are 50% better than last year, which is our requirement. So we are hopeful that even if we get a warning letter for FY25, all it's going to say is keep up the good work for 26. Okay? So that's that one. If there's any questions on that. We were getting a little pressure from AIB staff to go backwards we pled our case at that meeting that going backwards would be detrimental to us. We need to look forward in Queen Anne's County, and we had positive reactions from the voting members that, that will make that decision for us. So we're confident that even if we got that letter, we're gonna be okay. And if not, we'll deal with it, and we'll be okay by February 1st.
Yep.
We might not sleep much, but we'll wait and see, right?
Yes, that is correct.
The not sleeping part?
Well,
That might not happen
I
anyway.
don't sleep much anyway.
The other warning letter I want everybody to just know is out there, because we are coming up tight on this, is it's related to career counseling and an MOU that we are required to have with our Workforce Investment Board and our partner Chesapeake College around career counseling. I'm happy to report that everything is fine with our MOU and how we are all working together. That's the good news. The AIB, though, has asked that our partners, the Upper Shore Workforce Investment Board and the Chesapeake College, the positions that they have assigned to help us with career counseling, and not just Queen Anne's County, but the other 4 neighboring districts. There are 5 districts that work with our Upper Shore WIB and Chesapeake College. They've just asked for adjustments to their job descriptions for those positions at each organization. The holdup is not us. The holdup, and I'm hopeful and confident that our partners will do that. But I wanted you all to be aware, if we get notification on December 1st for a warning letter, it's because of their job descriptions. They are working through their processes at those 2 organizations. It's not Queen Anne's County Public Schools, it's not Kent County Public Schools, Talbot, Dorchester, or Caroline. The responsibility there falls on those 2 groups, and I'm confident we'll get there, but I want you all to know that. And I can take any questions on that as well. And that kind of concludes, I just wanted to make the board aware, because if they vote to do those warning letters on December 1st, I don't know if we would get them, like, I don't know if that's going to be released publicly, if it'll just be a letter to you and me for us to talk at the board meeting on December 3rd. But I was really nervous about that all of a sudden be blasted out there and you all being blindsided. And as you know, transparency is big for me. I want us to be on the same page about what's going on.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
All right, sir, keep going.
So I was, gotta check my notes. Okay, so we're on the social media.
First read, policy 410.
So in response to some things that have been happening nationally and in our state, not necessarily in our district, I was asked to bring, by the board, our social media policy forward and update some language in potentially the policy and the regulation around employees' personal use of social media. So what I did with the help of the team, thank you, is we reviewed what some other districts around the state have with their social media policies, and I kind of blended some language from a few other policies together to add what I did to our policy. And I take any sort of comment. Again, this was a board request, and I'm delivering it for discussion as a team.
So this is a first read, it gets posted now?
Yes, Ms.
For
Dennis will post
public
it tomorrow
comments?
morning for public comment. It'll come
Okay.
back in a month for public comment.
Gotcha.
And I can take any feedback if this is what the board was thinking in bringing this forward. We can wait for a month to have more time to review it, see what the public says as well.
Sounds good. I don't know if anybody has anything to add.
I'm just,
I think waiting for public comment, but at the same time, from what I was reading, it didn't go so much, it just advised, be careful what you post personally. And I guess that's,
100%.
Tapping into the amendment rights, it's hard to do that. I feel like, okay, let's have better judgment out there.
I'll be honest, when we were reviewing some of the other district policies, some of them sort of go past the be careful and start giving some more real specific examples of do's and don'ts. I'm a little nervous about being so specific. I like the judgment, but, so that's why I propose what I've got right now.
Because they are public positions. It's not working for a private company or a company. It is, like we mentioned earlier, they're an official regardless of where you're at within the school district. So just note to everybody, use good judgment.
And still don't post. While you're at it.
I do like that there is more elaboration on it. And I do see that you're in kind of a unique position. It's like you can't infringe upon their rights to do so, but you can't tell them what they can and cannot post. I think the hard part is there's times, like, you're working with children, you're working with people's children, and we are in a day and age, what you say, people can make assumptions about you and your life and all, and you're handling their children. It's hard as a parent to separate that from an educator if something is aggressive on anything, and a lot of things I think people post to be aggressive on, but you know, it's like, how do you say what you can and cannot post? But yeah, it's like to say use common sense. I don't see a lot of it sometimes, but I do feel fortunate that the teachers in our county have not been, like, I have not been aware of anybody posting anything like super bad. I've seen it in other counties, but I think, so if this goes forward, just so my understanding, if this goes first as a first read and the public has comment, we can still change?
Yes, so
It's an evolving.
3 reads.
There's 3, so we'll bring this back for 3 consecutive months.
Yeah.
So it'll be posted now for public comment. If we get any comments, we will share that with you at the December meeting. And then it'll still stay posted for another month, but if there are any edits between now and then, we will make them and share them, and then from December to January as well. And there's even been times, I believe, at the 3rd read, we've changed a word or something like that if necessary. And we can continue to, 3 reads is kind of the minimum. So if we get so much public comment, or you all talk to other board members around the state or have a different feeling, we can say, hey, let's kind of start this process over. We're making such substantial changes to what the initial proposal was. It's your purview. And the other reality of the policies are, even if we approve it on January, you could say, oh, I didn't like that thing we did. Let's bring it back for a first read again in February. We can change it as much as we want. That actually happened a few years ago. We did a big rework of the ethics policy, and we were like, oh, we didn't really adjust the terms. So we brought the ethics policy back up almost right away to define the terms of the ethic panel members. Sometimes things like that happen.
And the last information item was a request for discussion on our cell phone policy.
I requested that, just because I've been seeing things, more and more things and more studies that are going forth, and I originally asked for it in closed, and you said that it was better for open, and that's totally fine by me. Ultimately, I just wanted to have the conversation about what people feel would be, and like currently we have no cell phone policy other than, right, that they just can't.
Well, we have acceptable use of technology that addresses the cell phones specifically. So what we have is that elementary, the policy reads that elementary, the cell phones and devices have to be off and away as soon as entering the school building. At the middle and high school level, it is more opened up, where the policy reads that at middle and high, if an educator wants to use a cell phone as part of a class for some reason, they're allowed to do that. I will say that at the middle school level, it was a team decision by middle school administration and teachers that they would be a little bit more restrictive in their school rules, and they are doing the off and away at the middle school level. So the middle school is actually modeling the elementary right now. Only high school is following that section. And I think it would be interesting. So this came up at the CAC last year as well. They asked Dr. Schreckengoss, and I think Ms. Capes, you were at that meeting. So because we just got the item, I haven't been able to process all the discipline around cell phones from last year yet, but we could share where we were 3/4 of the way through the year last year, Dr. Schreckengoss.
Yes, so at the end of April, we had compiled all of the major office referrals that were for cell phone violations. And the average among elementary schools was less than 1 at that point, average among middle schools 3, and average among high schools 4. So we could attribute lots of things, but perhaps last year, cell phone violations were not a major issue with that number of written referrals.
I just, as a parent, and I've got children that span all kinds of things. My older 3, it's kind of the ship has sailed, but with my younger 2, I can see where, in many states, I think it says 22 states in 2025 have enacted laws to limit or ban cell phone use, and there's various ways. There's bell to bell, so like from start to finish, they can't have it. Just instructional time, they can't have it. Allowing it during lunch or in between periods. My concern, and again, I don't have access to all the data, but I feel like we do know that it's very distracting. We do know that it's impacting people's ability to communicate within each other. Like, I mean, I've watched them sit face to face on their phones, but like they're talking through the device, not to each other. So like, what is the long-term effect of that? Mental health, right? The whole comparison game, not to say they wouldn't have it after school, but in school, I personally feel like it's a massive distraction. You see kids walking down the hall, they're snapping, they're texting. Like, I'm not saying that every student is not unable to separate that, but I do think it's very tempting. I mean, it's tempting for adults. Like, so I feel like I just was wondering what everyone's feeling was on that, because I do feel like I cannot see the harm in having it, in having some sort of restrictions in the school, whether they have it and they put it in a cubby in the room. I mean, I have kids. I'd like to know if they would want to reach me. There's an emergency, something's happened, there's something emergent that they could get a hold of me immediately. I think every parent wants that, but they don't need to have it at their desk. I feel like, and I haven't really done a lot of research into what other classrooms have done, but I know they've got with the magnetic cases, or they've got little cubbies that they can put them in, so that it's still in the classroom, it's just not on the desk. Like,
So even back to that, so when we had the SSIC and the CAC, from the teachers to the parents, all shared the same kind of ideas of, why cell phones are bad. And back to the cubbies, the teachers shared that some of the teachers do have them. Well, the kids bring in old cell phones and put them in the cubby and just use their regular cell phones. So they know ways around it. And unless you're completely, the watches, everything. It's like they don't know how to disconnect. And they were like, we would like more discussion from parents, teachers, everybody, because they, like you said, are a distraction. There's some kids who, they need to be on their phone 24/7, and to teachers trying to teach while kids are tweeting to each other and just
snapping and their streaks and like everything that has nothing to do with learning. And it's not about that I don't want kids to have it. I just think that how would test scores be? How would mental health issues? How would anxiety and depression, all these things in the kids, like I can't see a single negative aside from the fact that kids don't want it, which isn't enough for me.
It's
Sorry.
like, I brought the conversation up over the last couple of months with, I think, all of you one-on-one, just asking what your opinion is on it. So there's been several studies that have been going on where there has been schools which they have it's a modified Faraday bag, where it doesn't completely eliminate the signal coming and going, but they don't have access. And then all it is it's a special, some schools wheel out a cart whenever they leave them for the day, and it can open it up, but they don't have access to getting in the Faraday bag, and it can't like make noise and things like that, but it can still receive stuff in case emergencies and things like that. But there's been studies out there that actually show that schools have been doing it for a couple years, that they see a lot more face-to-face communication at recess with middle school or
people
whatever it is.
skills, like
At the lunchroom. Before they said that the lunchroom, they'd all be on their phones sitting there. Now there's actual communication. They can't have in the lunchrooms, but they communicate with each other. You're seeing the mental health or wellness, a lot less folks, students, visiting the school nurse or going through psychologists or whatever for mental wellness. And there's studies going on that it has actually opened up more clubs within them schools and more desire to communicate and actually function together whether it's a debate team or you name whatever club you want to start. So that's why I brought up the last couple of months with you all individually. I think it'd be a fantastic idea, whether it's a trial run for a year or whatever. But there's expenses that come along with it, and purchasing the Faraday bags. And then if they do put a single phone in there when they have the second one, there's ways around it. But I think those Faraday bags eliminate the watches and other things because they can't communicate and stuff like that.
I think that there's going to be obstacles, and
Right.
there are people that are gonna find a way to hack the system. I mean, it's not gonna be perfect, but I think just saying, oh, it's going to be hard isn't enough to not try if the science is, or if this data is showing that it can do, literally only make things better.
And the studies do show,
Yeah,
like you
I'm
mentioned, that there is a rise in scores and educational aspect of it too because of the lesser.
And I do think that to a degree, I think we all know that it's like, okay, being on social media and being on it consistently is not good. It's very distracting. It's very addictive. But I feel like it's easier when everyone is asked to not have it.
Correct.
Right? It's one thing for you to make an effort, but like if everyone's making an effort, or at least that's the rule, or there's a consequence, I don't know. It starts somewhere. It just has to start somewhere. Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but progress in that direction, because I can't see how long-term that's going to be helpful for a child that's had a cell phone at 12 in school all the way up to an adult. Like, I just feel like with us starting with the elementary school, say for example, I think it might be hard to do it now with the current high school group. But if we were to start it in our middle schools now, those, when they go to high school, won't know any different.
I mean, you implement it. I mean, it might be hard, but it's if we implement that rule, too bad. Like you have to follow that rule, and that, it is what it is. I mean, I know it's harder because they've been used to it.
Right.
But if we implement a policy, then they
Like, and trust me,
have
and
to
I know my
abide.
children would be super annoyed if this was something I was trying to do while they were in high school here. But I'm kind of like, I feel like if we were to start it younger and they don't know what they don't know, then it may not be something we can do with the current high school, but maybe the kids that are in elementary school going into middle school, if we set a time where we start to phase this in, whether it's instructional time or bell to bell or whatever model that we want, and just go from there. I don't know what the average age is. I know in our home it was always 12 where you could get a cell phone, but I don't know what the average, the data shows when kids start to acquire cell phones taking them to school. I'm assuming it's more middle school related, right?
But it's happening more and more.
But I've seen, like, I've had kids come to our house that have a cell phone and they're 8 and they're on it. And I'm like, and they're acting just like a 13-year-old. I think the maturity that comes with having it, it happens
They
so
text
fast.
each other sitting across from
Yeah,
each other
I'm like-
instead of talking to each other.
I've seen kids have sleepovers and they're on their phones, and I'm like, this is not a sleepover. Like, guys, be silly. I don't know. I just think in school it would be helpful, especially with, again, mental health is a big thing. We're literally raising the next set of grown-ups, and I feel like mental health is so much more of an issue with the younger generations. And the biggest thing that has changed is the access to social media, and they are able to be touched all day long with Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok. It's like, I don't use Facebook, that's for old people. But they can have access to each other. What'd you say?
He said thanks.
No, I mean, I use Facebook. My kids are like, that's for boomers or whatever they call it. But I just think that it's something to just, I really wanted to just have a conversation. I didn't have guns blazing, but I do think that it's worth it. And even if we start to talk about maybe implementing it in fall of 26 or fall of 27, having a starting point for a certain grade and kind of even looking at the data of that grade to only support, I know with our testing scores that we're doing well on the Eastern Shore, but I know that there's some things that we can improve upon. And if we were to pick a pilot group or a pilot age group and kind of follow that, I wonder if there would be some trends in the middle school and high school that would be beneficial.
So talking to some of the community, I've had good discussions with a lot of the community in different places I've gone about, not just in our county, but parents that I know across the board. What would your thoughts on something like implementing? And I've seen, and I've heard both sides. Some folks like, no, I want to have access to my kids 100%, at all times. They should.
Because we're used to it too, right? Like,
But
we're
at the
used
same
to being
time,
able
I've
to.
also heard some parents were like, well, how am I supposed to communicate with them? I'm like, well, they do make landlines, and the school still has phones like we did when we were growing up. So there's a lot of things that I've heard both sides, and other ones were all for removing them because they think it would be better for them to be able to actually talk to a human.
I think growth
face-to-face
happens when
and-
things are uncomfortable.
Right.
So I feel like for parents, it's going to be uncomfortable, and for kids, it's going to be uncomfortable. But like, I can't tell you how many times I sat and see my 17-year-old, and he is on the couch on his phone because whatever's going on there is not the same as like having a conversation, and it's frustrating, and it's like you don't know how to make them not want to see what someone's doing that they don't even know. Silly.
So, I don't know if this would be a discussion, but maybe have some feedback from the community. I mean, if we're gonna.
Yeah, we
go
talked about
down this path,
doing a
yeah,
survey before, like how we send out the thousands of emails and see.
Depending how much we get back on it, but it would be good to see what the, sending out a survey and see what the community thought would be on.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what the student board members
Right.
think about it too. That'd be-
Well, I mean,
I feel like you're gonna get the answer you
yeah,
expect.
you already know what the answer is.
But I do think, like, if I ask,
I actually don't
don't-
know that,
yeah, I was gonna say.
It
I don't-
depends on the kid.
because I'm doing student groups right now. Bullying's concern, being picked on,
And they just,
phones
yeah.
play a part in that, so.
Yeah.
Maybe because it doesn't sound like we're asking for an immediate reaction here
No,
or immediate action.
no.
So maybe what the team and I can work on in the coming weeks and month or so is putting an example survey together that we could present to you all, make sure it's hitting the mark with your expectations of the information you want to gather before we actually just send something out and bring it back to you, if that would be okay.
No, that works. Thank you. And to keep moving this train forward, are there any other, anybody else that wants to do public comment? Betsy? Okay, just checking. All right, the next item are our future meetings. The next commissioner liaison meeting is November the 18th at 3 p.m. Anybody up for that one?
I can do that one.
Okay, I can also do that one.
You said November.
I cannot.
This is November 18th.
Yep.
At 3?
So, Ms. Capes. Is anybody else?
I got it.
You said at 3, yours
Three.
says 4.
It's 4.
It's 4.
4, 3.
Oh, no,
So
they-
it's they updated it.
They asked us to be early for this one. I don't remember
Right.
why. I don't know that we got a
Yeah,
reason
it was
why.
3,
It's 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's usually 4.
Usually 4.
They,
They asked us to move it up.
and then,
Good.
I have like a list,
Yeah,
if that's all right.
sure.
So we have the SSIC and the CAC next week on November 12th, Wednesday here. If anybody is interested in joining us, November 12th, next Wednesday. Correct, Dr. Strickland?
Correct.
Wednesday.
4:15.
4:15 and 6.
Yes.
If anybody would like to attend, if you could.
Can you?
Wait, what day?
Mr. Dreyer?
Oh, okay.
Wednesday.
Mr. Dreyer said he's
You said the 12th.
the 12th.
12.
What time is that one on the 12th?
4:15 and 6. The teacher group is 4:15, and the parent group is 6.
And how late does it usually go to after the 6 o'clock one?
7:30.
Midnight.
7.
He's funny.
Ms. Eichler, was that you?
I can come, yeah.
And then, if it's okay, I wanted to bring up the budget roundtable December 10th. Don't necessarily need an answer right now. We'll have another time we're together.
Right.
But that would be, just if you want to get back to us, we scheduled that's our monthly full-day A&S, which is supervisors, principals, and the executive team. It's all day. We have set aside the budget portion to be from 1 to 3 on that December 10th.
So who's never been? 'Cause
I've
there's a
been
time-
last year. Is that where we all sat in the room and ever talked about their wish list?
Yes.
We will not be doing it the same way this year. We're going
Okay.
to try to make it a little bit more productive.
I did good. Matt and I went last year, so.
That's
Somebody
at
else?
Have
1
you ever
p.m.
been, Alexis?
Yeah, I think like the first year, but I don't think, that's a Wednesday. I don't think I can do that, the 10th at 1.
May you go
Yeah.
where?
Can he go?
Sorry, you said that
No,
was
you
the
can-
summer.
You're a little bit
Yeah.
necessary, sir.
If
you
other
don't go,
people
I don't
wanna
go.
You wanna go?
I'll go. Okay. Or one of the
Miss,
board members.
anybody else? And we can, I'll ask you again.
Yeah, I have an
I'll let you
appointment.
know.
that
I'll
day
ask back.
too, but-
And then I wanted to let the whole board know that just from natural, great conversation that happens when folks are together, working with the commissioners, I think we just got a meeting date set to have a little, Mr. Dreyer already referenced it before in the meeting, but we're gonna talk administration, 2 board members, couple commissioners, and folks from Chesapeake College, just about future CTE plans. most of you know that the Chesapeake is building a new CTE building. So we're very interested to know in sort of how is that going to support the high school students from the 5 districts that share Chesapeake. And this relates back directly to, in our long-range capital plan, we have a new CTE building out there. And since I've been here for 5 years, every year we just kick that back a year. We need to talk about it as a group of, is that feasible or not? And if it's not, I mean, I hope it is, that would be incredible. But we need to be realistic too. So we'll be doing that in a couple weeks.
I think that's on December 16th.
Is that, they got back?
I think it's December.
I didn't read the email.
Yeah, the
yet.
email came in when we were in closed session.
December 16th. And so, I guess,
You don't have 2 board members.
the conversation was between Ms. Capes, Mr. Dreyer, and one of the commissioners. So I think if it's all right with the board, they'll have the first shot if their schedule allows. And
Yeah, I can look at that date. I didn't look at the email.
sure. Sorry.
The next board meeting is December the 3rd, 6 p.m. Any other meetings we need to notice, schedule? At this point, I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn open session at 8:11 p.m.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We will see you next month.